Israel was leaving Egypt, which was certainly a world not his, going to a place called the land, which was supposed to be a world that was his, where they would live his way. Yeshua was telling his disciples, as we read now in John 16 and 17, as we're continuing through this story, this is exactly the appropriate teaching to do, because this is after the Last Supper, heading right into the Passover, hearing his final words to the disciples about not being afraid, not being worried, not being distressed, not having fear, not being sad, not stumbling, because he's going to leave us with peace. I mean, you don't see the disciples all sitting at the tomb waiting for him to rise. They're all hiding after all this stuff is going on. Their leader, their Messiah, etc., had just been killed. They did not know what to make of that. In their mind, let me stop and just say it this way. How many of you maybe fall into the same trap that they did, that in your mind you have an idea of what Messiah is supposed to do? You have an idea of what Elohim is supposed to do. You have an idea, and then when it doesn't match up, your heart gets, you fall in your emotions, your heart falls, and you become frustrated, sad, disillusioned, and then you may quit even, because these things don't match your image. This is part of why we can rejoice. We are not rejoicing that Yeshua had to die. We're not rejoicing over the pain and suffering. We're not rejoicing over the plagues and suffering that Egypt had. We should not be rejoicing over anybody's suffering. But he says, if I go through this, then I'm going to send you something that would bring you the joy and the peace. I'm going to send a helper to you. Remember, these are already, he's talking to them, not you, directly. Indirectly, he's talking to you. These are people he trained for a period of time, personally. And he's telling them that I'm going to send you a helper to help you understand as you go through the life and you see things play out. Oh, that's what you meant when you said this. Oh, that's what you meant when you said that. Because you start to see it play out. When he says that believing in him and following him may cost a relationship between mother and father and sister and brother and parent and son and daughter and all this other stuff, and then you see it happening in your life, the Ruach goes, ta-da, bingo, ding, 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 ding. See, there's the verse. That's what he was talking about. Here's a really important lesson. Why would you ask each other about something that you should be asking an authority about? Yeshua's right there. He's like, are you asking each other about what I said? Because I know you guys do that with my stuff too. I teach what I believe Yeshua's taught me to teach you, and then you talk to each other about it, trying to figure it out instead of calling me. Or I'm right there in a chat, I'm right there in a room, and then people are doing all this discussion. I'm like standing going, really? I'm right here. Why would you do that? We have, in Scripture, been told over and over again that Elohim speaks in parables. That's in the Tanakh, by the way. And then Yeshua also spoke in parables, figures of speech, not directly and plainly. This is important, too, because when people say, in the Jewish community especially, well, I don't see Messiah in the Old Testament, because he doesn't come out and speak plainly about him. Oh, he's in there in figures of speech. In the world, you have pressure. Anybody experiencing pressure? We're going through this COVID-19 thing. A lot of pressure on our finances, a lot of pressure socially, a lot of pressure relationally, a lot of pressure spiritually, a lot of pressure going on. And he says, take courage. I have overcome the pressure. I have overcome the world and its pressures. You are a threat to their delusional world. We've talked about that quite a bit in some of the other teachings. I think I talked about it during the Get Out the Leaven teaching. Okay, this is a threat. You are a threat to their reality perception. So instead of using delusion, people don't understand delusion. Delusion is simply a wrong way of seeing reality, a skewed, inaccurate version of reality. You are a threat to their perception of reality. And by the way, the word one isn't there. That's added in the Greek. It's not there, so it was added for, So look, I think he's just saying, I pray that you keep them from the wicked. Not the wicked one. That's more Christian thinking. The wicked. Because the wicked can influence you to be wicked. What is wicked? Going against Torah observance, breaking commandments. He said, I don't pray that you take them out of the world, but keep them from those in the world that are wicked. You have to go through a spiritual setting free before the physical setting free. Right? Yeshua first deals with them here, setting them free spiritually. The physical freedom is going to come later. Same thing with Moses. Before they came out of Egypt, they first dealt with all of the plagues, which dealt with all of the phony gods of Egypt. They had to deal with some spiritual stuff first before they could deal with some of the physical stuff. And then they had some more spiritual growth to make before they actually got into the land. So they dealt with some more spiritual stuff before they ended up getting into the physical stuff.